The January transfer window is over. The second half of the season is underway. We're still in European football. Things are going okay. So, of course, it's about that time for them to go wrong. Let's find out. My name is FM Jellicoe, and this is the Red Devils Rising. Because I've got a little bit more room. We're active in the transfer window, but not as active as we could have been, and there's a few reasons for that. On the outs, Max Bader, who was a youth player. Let me go here. 1-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. Graded out really low for us, but he has the potential to be somebody in the future. 17 years old, midfielder on the left, an advanced midfielder on the left, can also play on the right. I'm kind of stacked at that position with youth players who are better than him. The fact that Rostock came in and they offered me 650,000 euros, going to 1.7 million for him, I said, okay, sure. I can't justify, I wouldn't buy him for that much money, but I can certainly justify selling him for that much money. Jan Zivkak, our young advanced midfielder on the right, who's actually had a decent season for us so far. 9 appearances, 3 goals, 2 assists, 1 player of the match. He went out on loan to Arminia Bielefeld. They asked for him, and I said yes. If only because I promised Steensigg more playing time, and he plays a decent advanced midfielder. Florian Held is my, Lucas Bernat is my primary midfielder on the right, and I've got a couple other youth players I want to rotate in as well. The other reason I agreed to let Zivkak go was because of somebody we brought in, and we'll get to that here in a minute. Our first big in was, well, we'll go in order here. Our third big in was Zoran Obradovic from Zvezdara in Croatia? Serbia. 1.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, 18-year-old striker. I bought him just on potential alone. He's a good target man. He's a very good, he's a good target man, deep lying forward, pressing forward. I would probably retrain him as a pressing forward. I'd like a formation with a pressing forward. They do really well for me. He's one of those youngsters who really has a lot of potential, and that's why I picked him up. Physically, he's not the best right now, but he could be, especially with a 16 natural fitness and a 16 balance, a 14 jumping reach, the 15 strength is nice. Mentally, he's good and getting better in the areas I like. Aggression, anticipation, bravery, composure, decision-making. The 17 determination is way off the charts. I love that. I will take a mediocre player with good determination over a good player with bad determination any day of the week and twice on Sunday or Saturday, whatever day we're playing. His off the ball is decent. His teamwork is very nice. His work rate is adequate. And those, I think, will only come up as he gets more playing time. Technically, he's middling, to use a word. His finishing and first touch are okay. His heading is a little bit better. His technique is good. And that's the other thing that kind of attracted me to him. He's got a 14 technique, and I think that can go up. I think with regular playing time against decent opponents, he will definitely see those improve. The plan is he's probably going to be on the under-19 team for a while and then loan him out next year. But he's definitely a depth signing for the future. Next in was the big money spending of this part of the transfer window, Luis Felipe from ATP for $12.75 million. He came up on the scouting report about a year ago, and I liked what I saw, so I kept him on my short list. And when I saw something come up about ATP looking to move him, I checked him out to see how much they were moving him for, and they only wanted $12.75 million. This for a 21-year-old, 3.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. I'm going to be playing him as a midfielder. Chances are he's probably going to be stepping in for Swiderski a lot. He's a really good advanced playmaker. He's a really good deep-lying playmaker, which is where I'll be playing him at, but he can also be a box-to-box and a Carolero. Physically, he's not too bad. He's solid. The strength is a little bit on the low side, but his mentals and his technicals really make up for that, especially where I like them to be. The anticipation is nice. The bravery, composure, decision-making. The flair is good. The off-the-ball is good. The vision and teamwork are great. The determination is more than adequate. A 10 is good. It's double digits at least. Technically, he could be better. And something tells me this is where his missing stars are, is in these technical areas right here. But he's got a 17 passing and a 16 technique. If we can get his dribbling and his finishing and his first touch up even higher, he will definitely get that 4.5-star potential fulfilled. So I think he was well worth the money we spent on him, and we need to be retraining him as a midfielder. We'll take care of that right now. Midfielder. Rafa Martin comes to us on a free. I found him as part of my, hey, let's go out and see if there's any youth players out there who might have some potential that we can bring in for cheap. This kid definitely fits the bill. 17 years old, 1-star current ability, 3-star potential ability. There's not a lot good about him. The 16 positioning is nice. The 15 bravery is nice. The aggression's good. The concentration, decision-making, and determination are all okay. His determination is actually coming up. Physically, he's not the best. Technically, he definitely has room for improvement. But as a defensive left back at 17 years old, he's going to get a ton of playing time in the 19s. He might even go out on loan in a year or two. Or in a year or two, I'm not going to be the coach anymore, and who's ever going to pick up after me is probably going to let him go because he's got a mercenary personality, which I have rarely seen, but you know, I picked him up because A, he was on a free, B, it's a position we actually need a little bit of depth at our under 19s, and frankly, if he does turn into something, I can turn around and he can become the next Max Botter, for crying out loud, and sell him for a decent chunk of change. Yeah, Botter came in on the youth intake 2 years ago. Then we have Eric Gassana from Varzim. 17 years old, 2-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. I picked him up based on his 4.5-star potential ability alone. Physically, it's interesting. He's good in some areas, but not so good in others. The 7 balance, 8 jumping reach, and 7 strength are a little odd considering he has decent acceleration, agility, natural fitness, pace, and stamina. But he's 6'2", 154 pounds. Maybe that's why those are kind of like that. Mentally, he's okay, and he can definitely get better. I do like the 14 flair, the 13 off the ball, the 13 work rate, the 14 anticipation is nice. Everything else is workable, especially if I can get this positioning up. He's currently injured, though. He suffered a hamstring injury. He's out for the next couple of weeks. Technically, he needs to get better in a few areas. The technique is nice, the heading is nice, the finishing is nice, the dribbling is adequate. I would love it if he got his first touch and his passing up. And that's one of the things we're going to be working on. But for a future pick, 17 years old, on a free, I'm not going to complain. So he had a really good start. He had a really good season last year for the B squad in Varzim. He had 26 appearances, 20 goals, 1 assist, 6 players of the match. And for some reason, they still let him go on a free. So if he comes anywhere near that as a starter for us in the future, that's a good pickup. And last but certainly not least, Gabrielle Ojeda comes to us from San Martin Tucumán, which I want to say is in Argentina. It is. So he has a 2.5-star current, 4-star potential, kind of jack of all trades, master of none up top. He's a striker, but he can also play advanced midfielder in the center and advanced midfielder on the right. Chances are he'll be spelling Pellegri and the others up top as a striker, but he'll definitely get some starts in the advanced midfielder on the right position as well. Physically, he's really, really good with the exception of his jumping reach. Mentally, he's solid in some areas and adequate in others, which I'm okay with. He's not particularly bad in any one area, but there's a few areas he doesn't excel in that are a little bit annoying. But at the same time, for the money we paid for him, he's a good bargain pickup. Technically, the 17 dribbling is nice. The 14 finishing, 12 first touch are more than adequate. When you take into account he's got 12 passing, 14 technique, and he still has the opportunity to get better, especially with a decent amount of playing time. I don't know that he'll get this 4-star potential, but if he gets to 3.5, I think it's money well spent. He had an okay career at San Martin. He started some games for them when they were in the Premier Division. His best season was 2 seasons ago in 37 appearances. He had 17 goals and 3 players in the match. But they were willing to move him for a decent sum of money for us. 4.9 million is not a huge amount of money, especially when you consider our transfer budget still has 47 million euros in the bank, and we've still got 500,000 euros of wage budget to play with as well. So overall, a quiet transfer window, not a lot of surprises really. There were some big names out there moving for a lot of money, but I don't think we need one of those players. We've got good players now. We're transitioning potentially better younger players in. You know, it's just going to be a matter of, you know, a player like Swiderski being replaced by Louis Felipe. I was going to say Rafa Martin, but it's Louis Felipe who's probably going to take over for Swiderski. But like I got Joel Matty and a couple other youngsters as well. So depth is not going to be a problem. It's going to be getting players starts that's going to be the problem. And, you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Schedule-wise, it was a bit interesting. We did, as expected, we did really well in our friendlies against ES Tunis and Hibernian. Against Schalke, we drew with them 2-2, thanks to late goals by Pellegri and Bernat. Against Bayer, we drew with them thanks to a late goal by Bejger. We came close to this was an FM job. There's no two ways to put it. Bejger got lucky with the set-piece goal. Florian Held had a nice goal. Joel Matty had a nice goal. And then we beat Mainz 2-1 thanks to a brace of goals by Pietro Pellegri. Burkhardt got the scoring started for Mainz. I thought it was going to be one of those games where we were just going to get pounced, but we settled down. We played a really good defensive game, and then we just broke out in the second half. We had a lot of chances, and Pellegri broke through twice. So today, I think it's just going to be a short episode. We're just going to play the Eintracht Frankfurt game, and then the next episode we're going to come back and figure out who we're playing in the second knockout round this episode too. We'll at least get to that part, and then the next episode will be those two games home and away, and we'll go from there. Currently, Marco de Graca leads us with 25 goals. Pietro Pellegri has a 7.41 rating and 16 assists. I think that's pretty phenomenal considering he's playing attacking forward up top. I think that's pretty phenomenal considering he's playing advanced forward up top. Alvaro Carrillo, the best pass completion rating. Cheered Decker and Pellegri, each with 5 players of the match awards. Swiderski and Carrillo, each with 9 yellow cards. League table-wise, we're doing okay. We're in 6th place on 34 points. Eintracht Frankfurt and maybe Hoffenheim are kind of we're the 8 teams fighting for the top 6 spots, but there's a really big jump between, or there's a decent amount of drop between Bayern and Leipzig. I think Bayern's 4 points ahead right now. Something would have to happen for Leipzig to catch them, which is entirely possible. It is FM after all. But for the time being, it looks like Bayern is going to win yet another Bundesliga title. But we have Eintracht Frankfurt coming up, and that's going to be a good game because they are 2 points behind us. I would love to get the win and increase our lead that much more. A draw would be nice. A loss would be horrible for us as I'm clicking all over the place. So what I'm going to do is we're going to double check the best 11, set the reserves, and we're going to come back with our match at home against Eintracht Frankfurt in just a bit. So Florian Held got injured yesterday of all days. He pulled some ankle ligaments. He'll be back in about 2 weeks. One of the other reasons I was willing to let Zivkak go out on loan was this kid right here, Mike Krauss. 3-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. He is, for the moment, Bernat's backup at the winger position on the right. He's fast, he's pacey, he's got great determination, his technical skills are good, and they're getting better. And frankly, he has a higher ceiling than Zivkak does, which is one of the reasons I was willing to let Zivkak go. I'm basically putting Zivkak out there because I'm planning on moving him in the summertime. Just don't tell him that. So... But Mike Krauss, if we were to compare him to Zivkak, let's do that here real quick. And we'll go to attributes this way. You can see he's already better than Zivkak in quite a few areas. He's a year younger, which frankly doesn't count for a lot in my opinion at this point. Physically, he's faster. He has a little bit more natural fitness. Zivkak's better than him physically. But I believe Krauss will definitely be better than him technically, and he already is in many areas, and mentally, he's close to or equal to him in most areas where he doesn't exceed them. And, you know, it's one of those cases where it's an odd time for the team because we're transitioning from established players like Swiderski, like de Graca maybe, depending on who comes for him this summertime, like Ranieri, to youngsters. We're trying to get them playing time. We're trying to keep the squad mixed up and in contention. You know, but at some point, if we fall out of contention, I am more than happy to play the youngsters and get them some playing time. So this is the squad we're starting today. We got Decker in goal, Ranieri, Dressel, Carrillo, and Magahalis as the defensive back fours, Swiderski and Felipe as the midfielders, Blum and Bernat up top as the attacking midfielders, De Graca and Pellegri as the strikers. Frankfurt has a very good squad still. It's going to be a good game. Kamara with the ball off the goal kick. Gets it up to Ayobami. Swiderski dispossesses him, but the ball goes right to Valeri, who gets it up. Silva got by the defender, takes the shot, and puts it past Decker for his 16th goal of the season so far. Andre Silva. Well, you kind of expect that. It was a very good pass by Valeri to him. Although Swiderski did a decent job of dispossessing Ayobame, it didn't really work out. Decker probably could have done a bit more there. Take with the goal kick. Take or Take? I probably have to look at his first name. I've had this discussion before. I'm almost positive I have. Kone to Take. Silva, Oaks, back to Silva. Takes the shot, but he curls it left. As George goes out and participates in the nightly Barkfest. Felipe knocks the throw-in away. Pellegri does get to it. Magahalis. Back to Felipe. Over to Carrillo. Up towards the Graca, who got behind the defender. Good long pass. Floats a shot, but it's high and right. About a half hour into the game. It's been not exactly even so far. They've had more shots and more on target. Their XG is a little bit better than ours. We've picked up a couple of yellow cards. Well, 3 yellow cards now. Magahalis on the throw-in. Pellegri back to Magahalis. Dispossessed, but he gets it back. Gets the ball to Felipe. Back to Magahalis. Felipe centers it in, but it's knocked away. Swiderski ends up with it. Gets it to Felipe. Ranieri breaking in from the left. Centers it. Pellegri's there. A nice assist by Ranieri coming in from the left. Pellegri's 22nd goal of the season. Good pass by Felipe. Pellegri just sitting at the top of the 6-yard box right there. Excellent assist by Ranieri. We grab the equalizer right before the half. Burnett on the corner kick. Drops it short to Felipe. Back to Burnett. He centers it in. Bloom's there and he scores. That was well done. And that's essentially what I'm looking for the rest of this season. How well my youth players can contribute. Both Bloom and Burnett are younger than 21 years old. I'll have to double check that to be sure, but I'm almost positive they're both under 21 years of age. Oaks on the throw-in. Swiderski knocks it away. Pellegri's going to come back and get it. He drops it off to Felipe. Back to Magahalis. Surrounded by Frankfurt players. He gets it back to Felipe. Long pass across the field to Bloom. To Swiderski. Ball ends up at Graca's feet. He takes a shot. Banda blocks it. Burnett hits it off the post. The carom goes back to Pellegri, and he puts it away for the 3rd goal of the game for Kaisersalutern. That was lucky. That was really, really lucky. Banda had a really nice block. He blocked Burnett again. I thought that hit the post, but no, Banda blocked that. It was just his bad luck that the second time he did it, it went right to Pellegri. Ranieri on the throw-in. Magahalis picks up the loose ball. Felipe, top right of the box, back to Magahalis. To Felipe. He crosses in. Swiderski's there off the post. Off the crossbar, rather. Pellegri picks it up again and gets his 2nd goal in as many minutes, I think. I mean, it's relatively close to the other one. A quality game for the home crowd here. Yep, 2 minutes apart. He's had 3 goals in 6 minutes. And I think what we're going to do, it's about 61 minutes into the game. Pellegri's got his hat trick. We're going to take him off and bring on Steensick. We're going to get Bejger on for Dressel, and we're going to get Wiesner on for Ranieri. That's 3 subs at 60 minutes. Hopefully it will not come back to bite us. Felipe has 7-1 in his first game. Swiderski doing really well at 7-3. Burnett and Bloom each on 7-5s. Pellegri left with a 9-3. He will probably be player of the match unless someone else steps up. No more highlights, it looks like. With a 3-goal lead, it seems Eintracht is just willing to sit back and hopefully not let us score, and that strategy worked. But we put 4 up on them, thanks to a hat-trick's worth of goals by Pietro Pellegri, 44th, 48th, and 50th minutes. Dustin Bloom got a goal in the 47th minute, so that was 4 goals inside of 6 minutes. That is almost Lewandowski-like. That was a good win for us. Pellegri is the cream of the crop. I believe that moves us up in the 5th place. I will double-check that here as soon as we get through this. Praise Pietro. So the assistant of the post-press match conference. We're currently in 5th place. Bayer is tied with us on 37 points, but that win was very good for us because it puts us 5 ahead of Eintracht Frankfurt and 6 ahead of Hoffenheim. And that just helps. Oh, there's 3 teams tied at 37 points. I didn't even see that. We're tied for 4th on 37 points. Okay. I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that. We're going to save this here real quick, and then we're going to come back and take a look and see who we're doing, or what we're going to do. Well, I know what we're doing next. The question is, are we going to find out who we're playing? We'll take a look at the calendar here. As this saves, and then, why is it loading the game? Bayern versus mine says Eintracht Frankfurt. The Euro Cup games are here and here. I thought enemy of the people, Hertha Berlin, is between them. So here, so we're gonna have like a game this Wednesday and a game this Wednesday. But it's not telling me when the draw is. You know what? We'll go forward until right before the Hoffenheim game. If the draw for whatever reason shows up, we will come back and show that. Failing that, you'll find out who we're playing next episode. So back in a bit. You know what I just realized was, if we get through this, we click here, we click here, this run will be drawn 226. Okay. So, you know what? We'll find out who we're playing in the next episode. Decent transfer window. I like the pickups we made, the players we moved. We got decent money for, all things considered. Who are we going to play next here? You know what? We can find that out because actually, I showed it earlier. This is the first knockout round. There's some decent squads here. Everton, Shakhtar, Spartak, Apoel, CSKA Moscow, Nordsjælland. Definitely got our work cut out for us. Okay. Well, we will be back with the next episode. A good transfer window. I liked it. I think we picked up some quality players for a really good price. I think the 2 players we moved, well, Zivkak went on loan, but Botter leaving for that amount of money, I thought was a really good move. I don't know that we could have gotten more for him, and I really didn't want to hold out for more for him. Schedule-wise, things are going really well. We haven't lost since Augsburg, and I just said it out loud, so watch us get absolutely throttled, probably by, well, who's the lowest-ranked team here? Hoffenheim, Bochum, Bayer. Bochum's in 17th place. They'll probably throttle us like 6-2 or something like that. But we've got some really good results. Pietro Pellegri's been absolutely on fire for us. Even if you take out the 6 goals he had up here in the Bautzen game at the Pokal, he's having a solid season for us. He's been a more than capable replacement for Goebbels, and hopefully we can keep him for another year. If not, players like Steensig and that are going to be stepping into the fire a little bit early. If you did like what you've seen or heard, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content. Questions, criticisms, comments, leave those down below. I will answer those as fast as I can. My name is FM21. I thank you for watching.